I'll Knit With You. My name is Rebecca, known on Instagram and Ravelry as EvilTwin2. You can find our group on Ravelry under I'll Knit With You, or you can email me at owlknitwithyou@gmail.com. You can find show notes at owlknitwithyou.blogspot.com. How are you guys doing? I'm always so proud when I get that right. I don't know why. It's kind of hard to say all the different I'll Knit With You things. But I don't know why. I made it up myself. You'd think I got this down. How are my owls and my ewes? Which, for those of you who this is your first time watching, since I really enjoy puns, I call all my followers, whether they call themselves that or not, I don't know. I call them my owls and my ewes. Because, you know, they're... because I want to. I don't have a very good reason. If this is your first time watching, I don't do this part very often, but I really should do it more often. If this is your first time watching, thanks for finding me and checking me out. I'm a hyper little thing, so prepare yourselves for Sugar Rush. If this is not your first time watching, you've been here before, you know what the haps is. By the way, if you've been here before, I totally miss you guys. I did not get to record last week. It was crazy. So crazy. But first, let me tell you what segments we're gonna have, because I'm trying to do this slightly more organized, but I'm not very organized anyway. We will be doing new fronds, which is when we have new people join the group, or new people introduce themselves, really. We'll be doing blather, which is when I talk about what's going on in my life. We'll be doing Bobbins, there's a lot of B's, which is what is on my bobbins, and I just realized, no, we're good. What is on my spinning wheel, what's on my spindles, all that sort of stuff. We will be doing woes and woes, spelled woes and woes, because sometimes a work in progress makes you really excited and sometimes it makes you want to cry. We will be doing, we've got like everything this week. Defeated foes, which are finished objects. We will have Mustache. Yeah, that's right from here. Things that I have stashed that you will look at and go, dang, I made some of that in my life. We will be doing what makes you happy. And I have a little bit, I'm going to tack it on at the end, so if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to, about the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cup. Just things that are going on there, because I'm trying to be more involved and be social on Ravelry. So we'll see how that works out. The lighting in my room is a little weird today. I feel really washed out, but at the same time my couch chair looks amazing. So let's get started. So if you've watched the last couple episodes, I had found the remote for my camera and was happily zooming along, zooming in, zooming out. I lost the remote to my camera. This is one of those things that I find for like 3 weeks every 6 months or so, and I'm totally okay with it because I almost never need it. Like, I don't need to have a remote to zoom in and out. It's just kind of fun to play with. So let's talk about our new fronds. We do have 5 new fronds, so I'm pretty excited. There are a lot. Well, there's not a lot. Okay, anyway. So we have Sugar Baby Knits, who is a Laura from California. We have Tanya Street 27, Tanya Saint, Tanya ST 27, who is Tanya from Canada. With Buttons, who is Shelly from Pennsylvania. Jazzy EP, who is Jazzy from Australia. Yeah, okay. And then Lisa Knits Things, who is Lisa from Florida. And we are so excited to have you guys. If you would like for me to read your name out loud on the podcast, just go introduce yourself in the introduction thread. So with Buttons, wanted to know if you guys have, or me specifically, but I'm going to open it up to all of you guys, and I might even open a thread for it, so keep an eye out for that. I will link it in the show notes. If you have a story of some like eerie feeling, she gave me the example that you can read in the introductions thread if you want to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And she just kind of collects these cool stories, which I think is really a nifty idea. So head on over to the group and add yours. I may link to hers at the top of the thread post so that you guys can kind of get a better understanding of where that's at and what she means. It's very interesting. I tried to think of a personal, eerie, creepy story, and I don't really have any. I mean, aside from like random things falling sometimes. Ooh, you know what? I totally have one. Okay, so with buttons, here is my story. I will also write it down for you as soon as I can. When I was in college, we had lighting all over college, but it was obviously installed like several years prior to when I got there because they would flicker or go out all the time. And the guy I was dating at the time, whenever we would walk anywhere, the lights would always go out like as we passed them. They're not motion lights. They don't do anything. They're supposed to be on all the time. When he would walk by them with me, those lights would go out. It was so creepy. And the weirder thing is that when I would walk through by myself, the lights would come on if they were off. I don't know if it means anything, but for electricity to act that way is super bizarre. Super bizarre. I guess that's my creepy story. It's a little weird. I mean, why? Why was that happening? Were the lights trying to tell me, no, run away, Rebecca, he's a bad idea. You do not need this mess in your life. That's probably what it was. Thanks, lights. Got my back. On to blather, as if I'm not already there. These past 2 weeks for me have been completely crazy. I'm talking like going nonstop. I need an IV of coffee because my life is hectic. So I work at a news station, for those of you who don't know. And not this current week, but the past week, we switched to a new graphics setup. And this means that, you know, where before we would have one type of name key that would show up in the bottom, now it's the same kind of thing, but it just looks different. The look has changed. And the whole process was intense, and I was on the other side of it. All I would take things that the graphics people had put out for me and edit them so that we could use them for video stuff. Not in After Effects. I took the After Effects files that someone else had finished and put them in Final Cut and edited them. And even still, I got so much flack on that day from people who did not like the new graphics look. It was intense. So it was really stressful for me because I hadn't really done anything wrong. They just had an overall negative feeling about this new look. Which, change. People don't like change. I mean, when you can have dollar bills, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. My puns are out of control. So that was a really stressful most of my week last week. Then that weekend, and the whole reason I didn't get to record for you guys is because from Thursday night until Sunday, I was booked solid. I even tried to find time, and I started to record and it just looked so bad and I looked so pathetic and I had nothing prepared. It was a mess. Less prepared than usual. So I was like, nope. I'm not putting out something that's not worth watching. Sorry guys. Quality only. So on Saturday, I went to my first fiber festival. It was very, very, very small. It had about 7 tents, maybe. And there was actually reenactments going on like right across the sidewalk. So there was like cannon fire. I'm doing this right across the sidewalk. There was like cannon fire and gun salutes and all sorts of stuff because it was down by Fort Massac in Metropolis. Yes, the one with the statue. Here are some pictures. You can see it was very, very tiny. And we did go with, I went with my friend Amanda, who, she's not near as nitty as I am, but she indulges me. She's like, oh no, I'll totally go with you. I love looking at this kind of stuff. I think for her, it's more about like the seeing than the doing. But at least it's for her, it's not the shopping and not doing, which, you know, that's the whole other side of things. She just likes to look at the pretty stuff, which who can blame her? We also took her beautiful child, Olivia, who we had a blast taking pictures at the Superman statue with because she's adorable. So that was a really good weekend, and I will show you what I got in the mustache segment because you have to wait. You have to stick around. I literally drove down there, had our fun, drove back up, had some lunch, got back in my car, drove 2 hours the opposite direction of where the Fiber Festival was. My really good friend, Evil Twin One, who I've mentioned several times on this podcast, lives currently in like central Illinois. Well, southern central, anyway, doesn't matter because she's moving to Texas, which is over 20-hour drive away. Well, it's like a 24-hour train ticket because we looked into trains because there's a train that goes from here to there. but only if I want to spend an entire day on the train. I'm talking like sleep on the train, which might be something that I do because it kind of looks like fun. Let's not lie. I could just knit the whole time and not have to drive my car, and it would be awesome. So we'll see if that happens. I don't know why it wouldn't, except that I'd have to have time to get there and back. That would kind of be the problem. And we had a lot of fun. And it's over. I put it in my pile of stuff. It just fell on the other side of the pile. Hold on a second. This is not a mustache. This is, oops, that's a piece I'm gonna need later. I'm not gonna show it to you. You don't get to see it. We had a lot of fun and hung out at her house Saturday night, and then some of us were still there Saturday morning, and you know, we did stuff friends do. We went to a comic book shop, and one thing that I picked up was Love Letter. Now, if you watch the Engineer's Falcon podcast, which is under Fiber and Dice, I will link in the show notes because she's amazing. Her name is also Rebecca, I think. That's pretty cool. She has done a whole thing about Love Letter. It is a 20-minute game that is card-based. You don't build a deck. It's very, very simple. I taught it to my brother and his fiance last night. We played for like 3 hours because we didn't want to stop playing, and it's so much fun. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but this is one of the things I picked up this weekend, and we had a great finale, you might want to say.
I win.
They won.
Mic drop. I win.
You won the head of the princess. What are you gonna do next?
Yes.
What are you gonna do next, Steve?
I'm going to get you out!
That was a lot of fun to just see some friends I don't see very often, because she and I went to the same college, and we have several college friends who live in that area. So when she has a get together, they all just come to that. Like it's like a mini reunion with like 5 people, just the people you want to see, which is nice. So over the course of the weekend, I drove over 300 miles. I drove a tank and a half of gas. It was brutal. It's a lot of driving, and I tried to find someone who would drive my car, because if you're gonna drive for, let me do some math really quick, 6 hours in the car and you don't get to knit, it's kind of the worst thing ever. I was like, no, I just want to knit the car. No, not happening for me. So this week, work has been equally exhausting, but for a whole different, more fun reason. My boss has asked me to learn spreadsheets in Google Form and use them in conjunction with each other, and just kind of figure out how to do all of that. So I've been learning Excel, and if you are out there and you can find a way to get a spreadsheet to aggregate the form responses that are also in a spreadsheet, if this is the thing that you have done, please contact me. This is the current bane of my existence, and most of you probably thought I was just speaking Chinese just now. It's a thing. It happens. I'm actually having a lot of fun. I've made 5 forms already for different stuff, and it's a blast. I have never really worked with spreadsheets, Excel or otherwise, but I'm having a lot of fun, like, delving into it and figuring it out. So you know what else I like to dig into? I'm like really wiggly today. You know what else I like to dig into and figure out? Knitting. So let's get started with that. First, I gotta check my list. My list is over here. I usually have it here, so I always look like I'm looking at the floor, like I'm depressed or something. Anyway, let's go to Bobbins. No, I totally showed this last week. Did I show this last week? Finished? I think I did. Oh, okay. I did show this last week. I'm sorry. There's some things in my box from last week that I did not get to put away, because I remember showing some of this other stuff. Sorry, let me dump some things on the floor that don't need to be in my show off pile. What am I doing? Okay. I do Bobbins still though. My Bobbins, I have been spinning the Rin and Ollie that I purchased a while back and showed off on the show. It is gorgeous. This has little pops of silicone oil, and it's a little hard to see because I know there's a weird shadow in this room. There and there. And there's pinks and blues and white, which is just silk, and all sorts of loveliness. And I really enjoy this. This has been a blast to spin so far. I have just a little bit left. I have this much left. Just not very much. Not very much at all. But there you can really see the silk noil bits. Look how fun. So much fun. And then I will spin this up and ply it together. And this is a center pull. Kind of like a not quite loop bat. See? Very fun. Here are a better representation of the colors. Get that out of your face. Purple and teal and red. Reddish pink color. Smells good. Okay. So that is what is on, that was really quick. Blah, blah, blah. That's what's on my Bobbins. And if you recall, I am doing this for an owl on the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cap. I have to spin not only that as a 2-ply, but then a 3-ply, a 4-ply, and a cable ply. Not a chain ply. It's a different thing. A cable ply. I'm going to say the wrong one now. So that is just, it's been really fun. I tried to get it all finished up before the podcast, but I was not in a spinning mood last night. I was like, I don't want to do this. Not even a little bit. I ended up getting distracted and playing a game with my brother and his fiance. So obviously didn't want to do that at all. So that's what's going on with Bobbins, and it's been a lot of fun. The next thing that we have are woes and woes. So one thing that I show you like once every 6 months. I think I've shown it more recently though. Oh, if you want to know, well, that tells me nothing. This is just a plastic bag. If you want to know something else, then go somewhere else. Oh my gosh! My remote is in this bag. This is my sweater bag. It's not really a sweater bag. It's like one of those shopping bags. But it fits my sweater very nicely. There's all sorts of stuff in here that isn't supposed to be in here. Give me like 4 seconds. I'm kind of a mess. I'm sorry. Good grief. Okay, I showed this last time too, but I'll show you again. I've done a couple more rows. You can't really tell because, you know, this thing takes up forever. This is my Ginny cardigan, as it is. It's very lovely. You know, it's coming along. I feel like if I keep doing a few rows here and a few rows there, one day I'm going to look down and it's going to be done. Now that's not going to be anytime soon, but it'll happen, right? Just tell me yes. I don't care. Just tell me yes. I need to hear positive reinforcements for that behemoth. That's one of my whips. My other whips is the most astounding thing you'll see today. I feel like this is the circus act of my show. You've heard of knitting a sock. You've heard of knitting socks 2 at a time. And if you've been on my Instagram, there's someone I follow, and I swear I would mention you if I knew who you were, who was knitting socks 3 at a time. I decided I needed to do it too. So, I had showed you that I was knitting. I should have got a sock blocker. I don't know why I didn't go grab one. I showed you that I was knitting the Mystic Spiral sock. The sock, you cannot, there's like fuzzies all over this thing. What have you been snuggled up next to, sock? I'm gonna get a sock blocker. Give me a second. I usually have so little time between talking to you guys, like 7 days, that I'm not used to having to remember what I was doing. So anyway, I have knit one Mystic Spiral sock, and this is not the best type of yarn to knit on, because like, where's the Mystic Spiral? You cannot see it anywhere. If you look really close, you can kind of see the texture difference up here. Kind of. And you can kind of see a texture difference on the foot. Kind of. And so, when I finished my first sock, I'm like, yes, it looks gorgeous. And yes, it fits fantastic and feels wonderful when I wear it. But for the pattern that I was doing, this is the most frustrating thing ever for it to not show how awesome it is. And so I was like, epic second sock syndrome. I was like, I don't even know if I want a sock ever again. I think I'm done socking. And then of course, like the pictures I showed you last time, my coloring book yarn came in the mail, which I will show you more of that in a minute. And so to alleviate the pain of second sock syndrome and be able to cast on a second pair of socks, I started doing my socks 3 at a time because I am insane. 3 at a time socks. So I'm like right behind here. What's going on? This is my other navy sock. It's going by the same way. It's super dark. Why am I knitting a sock in navy? Who knows? Who can understand the reasonings behind this mess? And then you have my 2 coloring book yarn socks that are Mystic Spiraling, and you can see that they're slanting and they're doing things. I wish that I had them farther along to see more of the Mystic Spiral, but I'm knitting 3 socks at a time, which means it takes 3 times as long, which is kind of aggravating. I want to have them all finished by the end of May, hopefully before the end of May, because I had other projects I wanted to work on. But then I decided to not knit socks 3 at a time, so choose your battles, Rebecca. I love this yarn so far, and I will show you the whole ball when we get to Mustache. Just wait. Just calm down. We'll get there. But it is beautiful, and just look. This is the BMO colorway, and if you've ever watched Adventure Time, this is the BMO colorway. Like, you can just know that's what that is. You just look at it and you go, that's the BMO colorway. Sure is. That's my main whip that I'm focusing on, because socks 3 at a time. It's very exciting. Things are making noises, and I just want to knit them. I want them to be done and beautiful. So now we can get to defeated foes. I have a hexapuff. That's really all I have, is one hexapuff. Da 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 da. Hexapuff. But, you know, after hearing my last week, you should not be surprised, because I had no time to knit. It was very depressing. So if I had done a show and been like, hey, here's a hexapuff. Have a good day. So, it's all good. Here's my little hexapuff. It is made out of the yarn from the Navy Mystic Spiral socks. Now, for those of you who've ever watched me knit any socks, they don't match in the most atrocious ways. I'm talking like different colored toes. I'm talking stripes where one's going this way and the other one's going that way. It's a mess. So I wanted to make sure that these socks all match. Now these 2 socks match fantastically. Look at that. They're like right on key. This sock was a little bit harder because of the way the yarn works. So I took out a chunk of the middle and knit that up. And there's still a huge ball over there of this middle chunk that I took out. I'm hoping I don't run out of yarn on it. And if I do, I'll just make really short socks. It'll be okay, because none of my socks match anyway, right? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So that's my finished object for this week. Yay, hexapuff. If you knit hexapuffs, there's a thread called Strut Your Puffs, where you can go and show off all the puffs that you have knit. And I would love to see them. Show them all to me. I want to see all your puffs. Now, to the good stuff, the mega mustache segment. So I did get my coloring book yarns. My coloring book sock yarn that I got, which I will show you in 4 seconds here, is in the color BMO. It is fingering weight. It's 400 yards for 100 grams. It is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So here you can see it on the sock. Oh, like we haven't seen this already. It's still beautiful. I love this. This is so much fun. I am using my Knitting Geisha knitting bag for that. Look at me remembering names and things. Here is one small, I did half the yarn so I would be able to knit 2 at a time and not go backwards. So here's one very messy ball. Cake. It's falling apart. I've been knitting a lot, right? Yeah, that's what's going on. Of the colors, and they are awesome. You can see it from the side too. They are not even because I wanted them to match. So this is the bigger one. I have my cake coffin on it. If you don't know what a cake coffin is, go to my projects page and find out what a cake coffin is. It's also called a ball sack. I apologize for sensitive viewers. This is what, I mean, look at that. It just looks like ice cream or something. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thoroughly enjoying this yarn. So, she has super classy business cards. Let me get this back to the cake coffin. I'll talk to you while I do it. Super classy business cards she sent me with, sent one with my order, as well as a hexi-puffed length sample. And it even says on the back, 1 hexi-puff, which just made me squeal like a little tiny pig that I am. So here is her very cute coloring book yarn, right? And the back of it is the Kitchener stitch, which just makes me want to keep this in my purse forever. How cute is that? That's like a plasticky thing. I don't know. It's amazing. I have not knit this hexi puff because I wanted to show it to you guys, and it was very hard. So there's a cute little thank you sticker in gold and a heart on the back. And it says 15 yards equals 1 Hexy Puff, Rebecca. And it is sparkly, and I believe it is the Lumpy Space Princess colorway. Which is also in the character from Adventure Time. If you don't watch, you're totally allowed not to watch. It is not appropriate for anyone under the age of 15. Or something like that. I'll get this out, and I will show it to you, because it is sparkle on it. I've never knit a pair of sparkly socks, but this makes me want to. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. It's lovely. It's so cute. It's so girly, too. Now I'm gonna knit this like before next week. I'm issuing a challenge to myself. Ha ha ha. So that is just my coloring book yarn stuff. Now to talk about what I got for festival. So, I got myself a new little spindle. It is smaller. This one cost me $2, which is ridiculous price for any spindle ever. And it works fantastically. This is a sneak preview, so I'm not going to show you that yet. My previous spindle did not have a notch in it, which made things really hard for a noob like me. But I mean, the weight is right. Everything works the way it should. It's very well balanced. I don't know why it was $2, but it was, and I love it. I'm so glad I got one. So that is one thing that I got. And I literally just bought things as I went across these 7 little tents, because there was only 7 little tents, and I wanted everything. I did make a surprising purchase. I've been considering bottom whorls since I will be in the car for a road trip this summer with my parents, which I have mentioned a couple times. So I thought I should get something bottom whorly for the car. This is too big to spin in the car. Why did I buy such a tall one? But I got this really great lap chalice with it, so isn't this beautiful? And they match. They are a set. There's the wood. This set is from the Dancing Goats. He's also on Etsy. My wood it's a cedar arrow, which is apparently what this is called. And then a walnut whorl and bowl. So, you know, very classic stuff. I'm very excited about it. I have spun on it. It is tons and tons of fun. Look at that. It just goes for days. It just spins forever. It's like playing with a top. Really tiny fancy top. Or really big fancy top. But it's great. And I love it. I hopefully will be spending more on this. Happily, I will spend more on that. So, what was I not showing you before? This beautiful green and blue and yellow bat. Look at it. Look at it. It's amazing. This is 4.2 ounces of 70% American wool. That's what's on here. 30% alpaca. And I paid $12 for it, which is kind of just incredible. It was made by Catherine Montgomery, who lives in Kentucky. She doesn't have an Etsy shop. Nothing's listed on her sheet. It's a very simple little paper thing. So this is a massive bat. And there are actually just layers of bat on here. So layer 1, if you want to see all the layers, they are beautiful. They're all the same thing. They're just like, obviously her drum carder could only hold so much. And that's okay with me, because it makes it easier to spin. But, I've spun up... I had spun up a sample. Where did it go? Well, I have no idea. This is my life, people. Here you can see it spun up on my spindle. Let me get something behind there. There we go. And you can see it spun up on my spindle. It spins fantastically. I've been thoroughly enjoying every second of it. And here's more. Anyway, so my first very tiny fiber festival was a massive success. I spent all the money that I took except for $3, and there wasn't even concessions. Otherwise I probably would have spent the other $3. That's how life goes sometimes. I found exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get potentially another spindle, definitely a drop, or definitely a bottom whorl with a chalice. And then I wanted to get something big and fluffy. Ding, ding, ding. So because I got a new drop spindle for myself, and it is so tiny, and I love it, and it's perfection, I took my spindle that I had bought for the first spindle I ever bought and gave it to my friend, Evil Twin 1, who is moving away. She had been talking about wanting to learn how to spin, even kind of just jokingly in passing. And I showed her and another friend how to spin. My friend spun on this, and Lydia spun on the new drop spindle I gave her, and I spun on the bottom whirl. I wish I had a picture of us all spinning together, but we were all spinning and not taking pictures, so it happens. But she has already finished the half-ounce mini bit of roving that I gave her. I wasn't sure if she was going to use it. I want to give her something big when she was moving. I don't think that she wanted that either. Something small and compact. She knows where to buy stuff like that. She knows I'll give her more if she wants. So, she did fantastic, and I am so proud of her, and I will miss her, and I don't think she watches, and I don't care, because I'm just going to brag on her forever. Yay! But now on to, that was all the stuff that I got. That's all the stash that's going on right now. But now on to what makes you happy. What makes me happy? Let me grab my iPhone so I'm not, oh my goodness, looking everywhere at once. Things that make me happy this week. Mother's Day. My mom makes me happy. I didn't actually get to see her on Mother's Day because I was traveling everywhere and a half. But even still, she was like, hey, this is coming up. Do you have something for this? Are you ready for that? Are you prepped for this? It was nuts. She's so on top of things. She's so impressive. My mom kicks butt. My future sister had her graduation, and I am so proud of her. This weekend we are having her bridal shower, and in 2 short weeks, she will be my sister. And I guess my brother's wife or something like that too. That would be awesome. But 2 short weeks? 3 short weeks? 2 weekends after this weekend. That's the best way to put it. Don't crash the wedding. That'd be super weird. I am happy that Lydia is moving. Happy, sad, and proud. You know, moving is a big thing, and her husband got transferred into a thing he wanted to get transferred into in Texas, and that just, you know, wait for her being a grown-up. I'm just very proud of her. Go her. Love letter, which is one of my new favorite things ever because it's so quick to play and it's not hard to convince people. It's a good time. Fiberfest, the first Fiberfest I went to. I can't wait to go to a million more because if this one is this much fun, I can't imagine what the rest are like. I'm gonna be so incredibly poor. It's fine. Not even a big deal. And now, very briefly, I will talk about the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cup, which if you don't know, it's just basically a ginormous game on Ravelry, and if you want to find out more about it, just PM me, and I will send you 1.5 million links. Well, just like 4, but you know, all the good stuff. I myself am a first-year Gryffindor. I did a semester as a not quite first year, which means that you missed the signups, but you still want to play and learn stuff. So did that before. I submitted a broom, and a broom is an Order of the Phoenix mission. And there's a reason they call it a broom. It's an acronym for something. I don't remember what it is, of course. But I need to knit baby clothes for my aunt. She's having a new child soon, and you know, being a better knitter now than I was before, I should make something for this baby. So for my broom, I proposed. Brooms are more like storytelling than anything else. So I said, I'm going to go undercover, and I'm going to use the Reducio spell to make myself child size. So for that, since I obviously don't own child clothes, I'm going to need to knit a new wardrobe, socks, pants, a top, and a hat, all to wear in a matching outfit on my mission. So I got approved, and that was kind of funny and fun and good times. So I'm looking forward to building out more of that, and you can do story building stuff for it, so that's really fun. Quidditch round 1 is done, and the Hexie Puffs that I showed off last week were approved. If you want to see them, I guess you're going to have to watch last week's show if you don't know them. Or just go look at my Hexie Puff thread, or my Hexie Puff, in my Beekeeper, I can't even try to talk. In my Beekeeper's Quilt project page on Ravelry, you can see all my Hexie Puffs there. And that's all my big. I did some inner house unity stuff, which is mean another house puts it on, and then if you're not in that house, you go and be like, hey, just saying hi, doing all this fun stuff they said we should do. That's cool. I did a scavenger hunt yesterday. That was pretty fun. Hufflepuff to Gryffindor. But anyway, that's really all I have this week. I hopefully will be able to record the next few weekends. I literally have almost no time to myself in May. It's just something that happens when your brother's getting married. So I will do my best, but if you don't hear from me, don't lose your minds. I will be back as soon as I can. As soon as humanly possible. But from here to you, wherever you are in the world, if you're sitting there and you got a new spindle, or, you know, you just want to try doing something crazy, that sucks 3 at a time. That's crazy. Or if you finally found the remote for your camera, just remember, tune in and I will knit with you.